Hey everyone, welcome back to day 10 of our DevOps Explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive productivity killer that's likely hiding right in plain sight within your delivery architecture. We've talked a ton about deploying infrastructure and writing robust code, but honestly, none of that really matters if your team is constantly bottlenecked by the exact automation that's supposed to help them. So, we're going to zero in on the continuous integration pipeline, and more specifically, how to truly optimize it.
So let me ask you this. How much time is your team actually wasting just waiting around for CI builds? Look, in 2026, everyone has a CI/CD pipeline, but most of them perform terribly under pressure. Think about it. With GitHub Actions leading the pack at around 33% of organizations, Jenkins holding steady at 28%, and GitLab CI growing super fast, the tooling debate is mostly settled. But there's this huge gap between a pipeline that technically exists and one that genuinely gives developers the confidence to ship code fast. So really, how much time are you losing?
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The fragile pipeline problem. 2. The 10-minute build rule. 3. 3 pillars of optimization. 4. Testing smarter, not more. And 5. Security at pipeline speed. Let's get right into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the fragile pipeline problem.
You see, most pipelines out there are just this messy patchwork of disconnected jobs added reactively over time, rather than a system intentionally designed from day one. It usually goes like this. A team adds a step when something breaks in production. Then they tack on another step when a security audit flags a gap. Over time, what was supposed to be a slick, streamlined process morphs into this bloated, 45-minute, unaudited, sequential monster. Nobody fully understands it, and naturally, everyone blames it when a release goes sideways. On the flip side, the best pipelines, the intentional ones, are built with crystal clear quality gates, strict ownership of every single stage, and a completely measurable standard for what passing actually means, long before any code is ever pushed.
Moving on to Section 2, the 10-minute build rule.
Now, this right here is where we separate the elite performers from the struggling teams. We're introducing a hard, absolutely non-negotiable boundary for your dev team. Keep your build under 10 minutes. Period. No exceptions. Now, I know that sounds super aggressive, especially if you're currently sitting on a 50-minute CI run, but listen, this isn't just some arbitrary technical metric. It is literally the psychological threshold for developer context switching. Beyond 10 minutes, your pipeline is actively slowing your team down every single time it runs.
The mental tax is the real enemy here. If a build takes 45 minutes, developers naturally abandon it to go work on something else, right? But research from the Continuous Delivery Foundation shows that when that build finally finishes, mentally re-entering the original problem completely destroys productivity. The cost of that context switching is so massive that it easily, and I mean easily, exceeds the cost of just paying for faster build infrastructure for almost every team. You are literally bleeding money and morale by forcing your engineers to just sit there and wait.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, 3 pillars of optimization.
So how do we take that 45-minute slog down to under 10 minutes? We rely on what I like to call the holy trinity of pipeline speed. First up is executing tests simultaneously. There is absolutely zero reason to run test suites sequentially if you can just spin up multiple workers. Second, dependency caching. Stop re-downloading the exact same packages on every single run. It's a huge waste of time. And third, selectively triggering only what is strictly necessary. The hard truth is, most teams don't actually have 40 minutes of strictly necessary work, they just aren't optimizing how that work gets processed.
Selective test triggering is honestly one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. By setting this up, teams can slash pull request CI time by 40 to 60%, and that's just on larger code bases. Think about it. If a developer only touches the authentication module, then only trigger the tests related to authentication for that pull request. You can reserve the massive, heavy-lifting, full suite run for the final deployment to the main branch. Simple, but incredibly effective.
That brings us to Section 4, testing smarter, not more.
Let's be real. The biggest time sink in almost any continuous integration pipeline is the test suite itself. Testing is incredibly important, of course, but treating all tests as equally valuable is a huge mistake. To really optimize for speed, you've got to audit your test suite to match the classic test pyramid. You want about 70% of your tests to be blazing fast, isolated unit tests that run on every single commit without exception. Then maybe 20% should be integration tests, checking how components interact, maybe run those on pull requests targeting the main branch. That leaves just 10% for those slow, brittle, end-to-end user journey tests. And you should reserve those for right before staging deployments, definitely not on every single feature branch push.
And here's the thing. What most teams discover when they finally look under the hood is honestly shocking. Most of these bloated pipelines aren't actually filled with 40 minutes of crucial work, they're packed with obsolete steps nobody has glanced at since they were first added. Cleaning up your test suite to remove redundancies is every bit as important as writing new tests, so make it a habit to audit your test suite quarterly. If a test isn't catching real failures, or if it's just testing random implementation details instead of actual behavior, chop it. Get rid of it.
Moving to our final section, Section 5, Security at Pipeline Speed.
So how do we balance this intense, burning need for speed with modern security requirements? Well, we definitely can't just skip the security checks, right? DevSecOps is the standard now, and checks have to happen before deployments, not after. The secret sauce is integrating automated checks that don't require manual human intervention. Things like static application security testing, or SAST, absolutely must run automatically on every single pull request as a blocking stage. It analyzes your source code for common vulnerability patterns. Think SQL injections or insecure deserialization way before that code ever gets near a server.
Equally critical is secrets detection. This is an automated scan on every single commit to catch accidentally committed API keys, passwords, and tokens. Because think about this. Catching leaked secrets or running a dependency scan at the commit stage costs an absolute fraction of the time, the money, and the frankly awful reputational damage it takes to fix those exact same vulnerabilities once they've made it into production. Your pipeline is literally your first and best line of defense.
All right, I'm going to leave you with a little homework for today's explainer module. The one common thread among elite engineering teams, the ones deploying multiple times a day with incredibly low failure rates, is that they treat their pipeline as a product. It has an owner. It has a roadmap. So I want you to ask yourself and go ask your team, when was the very last time you reviewed whether every single CI stage is actually earning its place? Are you optimizing for your developers, or are you just letting technical debt dictate your delivery speed? Think on that, and I'll catch you in the next module.